My beloved child, there are moments in life when a warning can alter the entire course of a destiny. And today, this is that very moment. An angel has been sent forth bearing my radiant light, descending from eternity, to deliver to you a message that no one has the right to ignore. This message is not only a call to awaken, but also a shield of protection, a reminder that I, the Almighty God, see all things, even those unfolding behind you that the human eye cannot perceive. You may believe that your daily steps are ordinary, that the relationships surrounding you are coincidental. But I tell you, there is movement in the unseen realm, and it is directly affecting your life. This is why you must listen, for this message carries the weight of life and death for your future. That angel does not come in serene solemnity merely to inspire your awe, but with a blazing urgency. Their wings shine like ruby lamps in the night, and their voice resounds like a bell tolling to awaken your soul. They do not come to comfort you in complacency, but to stir, to awaken, to pull you out of the indifference that could lead you into snares. This is not a time to hesitate, not a moment to wonder whether all this is real or not. This is the hour of truth, the moment when the door between heaven and earth opens, granting you sight into what normally remains hidden. Picture this behind you, in seemingly quiet corners. Corrupt movements are unfolding. The enemy of your soul never slumbers. They do not rest, they do not tire, but relentlessly twist the truth, striving to rob you of the peace I have given you. And so I send forth my messengers to lift the veil, to show you clearly the essence of what is at work, so that you may walk in the light, unentangled by deception. My child, I am your God, the sovereign over all creation, the one who holds each breath and every heartbeat of yours. When I call out, it is not to add to your life a string of moral advice or hollow words. This call is a command, a warning, a summons for you to awaken. Behind you, even within the circle of those you thought you could trust, hidden hands are at work. They smile outwardly, yet their hearts are distant. They clasp your hand, yet whisper lies in closed rooms. They wear the mask of friendship while secretly plotting your downfall. They imagine you will never discover the truth, believing their play is clever enough to remain concealed forever. But I, your Lord, see all. Not a single whisper escapes my ear. Not a single scheme can be hidden from my sight. And now I choose to expose them, not to instill fear, but to set you free. Open your heart wide. Do not let confusion hinder you. What I declare today is not to spread terror, but to lead you into true freedom. You may not realize it yet, but darkness is pressing in like a cold wind through a crack in the door. It whispers that you are alone, that no one stands with you, that you are losing trust and favor. It seeks to steal your faith, to break good relationships, and to make you doubt your own worth. But my child, I have come to unmask this lie. You are not abandoned. You are not forsaken. I have sent my angel not to frighten you, but to remind you that I remain at your side, and that the enemy cannot triumph over you if you cling to the truth. This is an urgent message, but it is also the beginning of something new, a warning not only of danger, but also a promise of protection and victory. Remember this, my beloved, if the enemy believes it can hide from me, it is deceived. If it believes it can destroy your destiny through lies, it has underestimated my power. I do not merely reveal the truth. I equip you to walk in the light, no longer bound by the chains of darkness. And this is only the beginning of what I will reveal, of the divine strategies I will give you to overcome every scheme. Remain watchful, for what I am about to speak in the coming words will open to you a journey unlike any you have ever known. My beloved child, open your mind and heart to receive what I am about to reveal, for there are things happening around you that you have never considered. You have felt unease without knowing the reason. You have looked into someone's eyes and sensed they were not truly sincere, yet you dismissed it, thinking you were simply suspicious. That intuition, however, was the warning voice of my spirit. Behind smiles that seem gentle and words that sound kind lies a hidden web of deceit. Those who once appeared to be friends, allies, even companions in your most significant moments have now become instruments of darkness. Their conversations are not idle. They gather together, weaving false stories meant to tear you down. They believe that if enough people accept their fabrications, truth will be obscured. Yet truth cannot be buried, for I am the guardian of truth, and I have seen their schemes long before they ever open their mouths. Do you know, child, that they have mastered the art of manipulation? Not through blunt accusations, but through subtle words that drip like poison, planting seeds of doubt. They know that a lie repeated often can cause others to waver. They know that by planting a single fragment of suspicion, thoughts can grow into a tree of bitterness. So they whisper, "Are you sure that person is truly trustworthy? Or do you not sense something suspicious in their actions?" These whispers spread like fire through a dry forest, quick to ignite wide in destruction, leaving only ashes where love and sincerity once flourished. Their goal is not merely to tarnish your reputation, but to sever you from the very people I placed by your side to support and uphold you. But my child, I will not allow such deception to continue unchecked. They imagine that darkness will shield them, but my light will expose every hidden thing. Every whisper in a corner will be declared from the rooftops. Every scheme devised in secrecy will be laid bare before the eyes of many. I have already spoken. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be known. Luke 1:2. This is not merely an ancient promise, but a living reality unfolding in your circumstances now. You need not chase after justice for yourself, for I am the righteous judge, and I will cause the truth about you to shine forth. They believe they can use your weaknesses and minor mistakes as weapons against you. They forget that no one is perfect, and that I saw all your flaws long ago, yet still chose to love and call you. They dig through your past, magnify details, twist them until they forge a false image. They provoke comparisons in the minds of others. That person is not as good as you think, or that person is hiding much. Yet they overlook the truth that your identity is not defined by accusations or comparisons, but by me, the one who created you. I have also seen that they do not act alone. Behind their whispers moves an unseen force pulling the strings. There are wandering spirits, invisible powers speaking into their ears, convincing them that their actions are justified, that destroying you is necessary. They have become instruments knowingly or unknowingly in a battle far greater, the battle between light and darkness. You may wonder why some who once treated you kindly have suddenly grown cold or even turned against you. Understand this: they are under influence, and their change does not reflect their true essence, but the power of darkness they have allowed to approach. That is why I reveal these things to you now, so that you are not surprised nor crushed by betrayal. You may wonder, why me? Why have they chosen to target me? The answer is simple: because your light shines too brightly. Your presence in me unsettles the darkness. Your divine purpose terrifies them. They know that if you keep standing firm, if you remain faithful, your influence will spread and many others will be set free. That is why they try to extinguish your light before it reaches its full flame. But remember, this true light cannot be overcome by darkness. Every effort made against you is in vain, for I have set your feet upon a firm foundation. My child, I say this to you: do not let lies take root in your heart. Hold fast to the truth that I am your defender. Do not waste your energy trying to please everyone, for there will always be those who do not want to see you succeed. Do not forfeit your peace because of their falsehoods. Instead, place everything into my hands, and let me act on your behalf. It is I who will cause those who scheme in secret to be confounded by the light. It is I who will open the eyes of those deceived, so they may see the truth and return to your side. When this happens, your honor will not only be restored, but strengthened beyond what it ever was. Remember this. Well, my child, what matters is not how many people believe lies for a moment, but who holds the truth in the end. And truth belongs to me. Stand firmly in this, so that you will not be shaken by the waves of public opinion. You will see that when the storm has passed, Only the light remains, and that light is you, the one I have chosen, the one I have placed in my hand to testify to the world that I am still at work. I want you to grasp a truth greater than all deception. My light within you is stronger than any darkness surrounding you. Schemes may be cunning, and lies may spread widely, but my power is never limited. I am the one who created the heavens and the earth, who holds the universe in my hand, and no plan of the enemy can ever overturn my purpose. Therefore, let not your heart tremble. You are not standing alone against those forces. I, myself, surround you, as a fortress, as a stronghold, as a shield that cannot be pierced. I declare to you, no weapon forged against you will prevail. Isaiah 5:4-17. This is not a vague promise, but a firm assurance. It means that every scheme, every accusation, every plan set against you has already been decreed to fail. They may roar loudly for a moment. They may sway some people briefly, but in the end they will vanish like smoke in the wind. You may hear whispers, but they cannot define you. You may see a door close for a time, but I will open others far greater. Remember, when human hands shut one door, I, the Lord, can open 10 more. What you think you have lost is only ground I am clearing to plant new seeds, seeds of restoration and victory. Consider, my child, the small candle in a dark room. Even a single flicker of light is enough to drive back the shadows. Light does not need to argue with darkness, nor does it need to shout to prove it exists. It simply shines, and darkness has no choice but to retreat. So it is with you. The light within you does not need long explanations or frantic defenses. It does not need to chase after every accusation. All you need is to continue standing in truth, to keep walking in love and righteousness. Your very presence will cause the darkness to dissolve. People will recognize the difference. They will see in you a peace, a strength, and a steadfastness untouched by lies. Remember that I am never taken by surprise by any scheme. The enemy may think itself clever, but its wisdom is nothing before my infinite wisdom. It calculates in the shadows, but I saw it long before it began. It hopes to bring you down, yet I turn every one of its plots into a stepping stone to lift you higher. As Joseph once said to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 5:0-20. That story is not only for those of old, it is for you today. Everything that seems to harm you, I will transform for your benefit, to refine you and to glorify my name through your life. I want you to know that no accusation can touch the true essence of who you are. People may twist your actions, they may distort your words, but they cannot touch the soul upon which I have set my seal. You belong to me. Before they spoke their accusations, I had already called you by name. Before they plotted, I had already established your destiny, and no word of theirs can overturn my choice. Do not measure your worth through the eyes of man, for their vision is narrow and easily clouded. Look to me, for only I see all. I see the tears you have cried in secret, the sacrifices no one else has known, the prayers you have whispered in the night. None of these are in vain, and I will use them to build a glorious future for you. Therefore, be strong and courageous. Do not let schemes drive you back. Do not let lies dishearten you. Let every accusation become proof that you are on the right path. For the enemy only attacks those who are moving closer to the destiny ordained by heaven. If you were unimportant, it would not bother. But because you carry the potential of heaven within you, it fears and seeks to stop you. Let that serve as a reminder that you hold great value in my sight. My beloved, picture the day when truth will be revealed. Lies will collapse on their own, and schemes will return upon the very ones who devised them. People will see clearly that you are not what they claimed, but who I have ordained you to be. And in that moment, you will not need to speak a defense. My presence in you will be the testimony. Your peace in the midst of storms will be the witness. Your perseverance, your kindness, and your faith will compel all to acknowledge that I am the living God who acts. Keep your heart pure and your eyes fixed on me. Do not concern yourself with extinguishing each accusation. Focus instead on walking in the light, in the truth, in the purpose I have set before you. When you do, the lies will fall to the ground on their own, the schemes will crumble, and you will emerge from this battle not only unharmed but stronger, brighter, and more steadfast than ever before. For you belong to me, and in me you are always more than victorious. My beloved, I know that in these past days you have felt heavy, that you have sat in silence and cried out, "Why is this happening? Why must I endure such loss, betrayal, and unjust accusations?" That pain is not small, and I do not deny its reality. But my child, I want you to view these trials through different eyes, the eyes of faith, not fear. What you are enduring is not an ending, but a beginning. It is not destruction, but refinement. The tears you shed are not proof of weakness, but the very material I am using to forge strength within your soul. Imagine the work of a metallurgist placing gold into the fire. That fire is not meant to destroy the gold, but to melt away its impurities, so that the precious metal may become purer, brighter, and more valuable. The trials you are walking through are much like that fire. They burn hot, they are uncomfortable. They make you feel as though you will break apart. Yet in truth, you are not being destroyed, you are being refined. Every shock, every betrayal, every lie spoken against you is contributing to the strengthening and illumination of your soul. You are not only learning endurance, but you are also learning how to rise again, to stand, and to keep walking faithfully. My child, look back at the stumbles you have endured. Each time you thought you could never rise again, yet you did, and with every rising you grew stronger. In pain, I have been carving resilience into your being. In loneliness, I have been teaching you to find strength in me rather than in others. In betrayal, I have been opening your eyes to discern truth from falsehood, to recognize genuine love from hollow masks. If you see these things with fleshly eyes, you will only see loss. But if you see them with spiritual eyes, you will understand that every wound is a lesson, every tear is a seed, and every trial is a step leading you higher. The world often judges trials as failures. But I want you to know that trials are part of my greater design. Nothing you endure is random. I use even what seems evil to serve a greater good. Through trials, you learn patience. Through sorrow, you learn forgiveness. Through loss, you discover the worth of what is truly valuable. Without pain, you could not understand another's suffering, nor could you become a vessel of comfort and healing. Remember those who came before you. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, unjustly imprisoned. Yet those very hardships prepared him to become governor over all Egypt. David was hunted by King Saul, forced to hide in caves, yet those difficult years forged him into a wise and courageous king. Even my son Jesus walked through 40 days in the wilderness before stepping into his calling. Trials are not a sign of my rejection. They are evidence of my refining work. As Scripture declares, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:2-3. These words were not only for those long ago, but also for you today. Beloved, I desire you to change your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" begin to ask, "Lord, what do you want to teach me through this?" When you ask the right question, your mind will open to see the wisdom hidden within adversity. When you stop viewing trials as enemies and start seeing them as teachers, you will witness growth taking root deep within your soul. Trials do not break you, they fortify you. Trials do not steal your worth. They reveal the true worth I placed in you from the beginning. You cannot become a vessel of glory without first passing through the furnace. For only fire can burn away the impurities. Only pressure can transform coal into diamonds. Only adversity can reveal the hidden strength you never knew you had. I do not delight in your pain, but I delight in your growth, in seeing your soul expand, in watching you reflect my image more clearly. Therefore, do not reject your trials. Do not despise them. Embrace them with trust, knowing that I am at work behind the scenes. One day you will look back and recognize that these very hardships prepared you for something far greater. And in that moment you will no longer ask why, but will smile and say, "Thank you, Lord, for using even these things for my good, my beloved child." I want you to look beyond the trials you are facing. They are not merely isolated personal events, but part of a sacred process that I have used to shape every person I have called. From the beginning, those I chose never stepped directly into glory. They all had to walk through thorny paths and dark seasons in order to be prepared for the great mission ahead. Not a single one of my kings, not a single one of my prophets, not a single one of my apostles was raised up without enduring trials. Trials are the cradle that nurtures strength, the furnace that refines courage, the school that teaches faith. And you today are no exception. Look at Joseph, the beloved son of Jacob. He carried great dreams about the future, yet instead of being welcomed, he was hated by his own brothers and sold into slavery. From his father's house he was thrown into a pit, then carried off to a foreign land. He was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and unjustly imprisoned. Seen through human eyes, it looked like a life of failure, betrayed, deceived, and confined. But I had a greater plan. In the prison, Joseph learned humility. In hardship, he learned stewardship. He learned to trust me when no one else stood with him. And when the appointed time came, I raised him up as governor of Egypt, the one to whom a whole nation turned in famine. What was intended for destruction became the very stepping stone to glory. That is why Joseph could say to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 5:20. You see, no trial is ever wasted. David was no different. Before he became the king after my own heart, he endured years of tears and danger. After being anointed by the prophet Samuel, he did not ascend the throne immediately. Instead, he became the target of King Saul's pursuit, running from place to place, hiding in caves, wandering in the wilderness, even pretending madness to escape his enemies. He was betrayed, misunderstood, and at times felt abandoned. Yet, in those very days, he learned to trust me above all else, to fight not only with sword and spear, but with faith. He sang psalms in the night, prayed through his tears, and those experiences became the psalms, a source of comfort for generations to come. And when the time arrived, I gave him the kingdom, and he ruled not only with strength, but with a heart that had been forged through suffering. Remember Moses as well. He grew up in Pharaoh's palace, seemingly with every privilege, yet he had to flee into the wilderness. 40 years of tending sheep in barren land seemed like wasted years, but in truth they were my training ground for him to lead my people out of bondage. He learned to listen, to wait, to endure solitude. And when I called him from the burning bush, he was ready for a mission that no one else could bear. Do you see? Trials are never meaningless. They are always preparation. Even my only son Jesus, before stepping into his public ministry, walked through 40 days in the wilderness, hungry, tempted, face to face with the enemy. He did not need to prove anything to me, but he showed all humanity that every trial has a purpose: to reveal faith, to strengthen endurance, to prepare for a greater mission. If my son himself passed through trials, then so will you, not for defeat, but for preparation for something greater. My beloved child, when you view your life through the lens of these stories, you will see that you are not alone. You are walking the same path that those I have chosen once walked. Every tear you shed today will one day become streams of comfort for others. Every wound you carry will turn into a scar that testifies of healing. Every time you rise after a fall, you resemble them, those who stood firm through faith and were used to accomplish great things. My beloved child, do not be afraid of trials. Remember, they will not last forever. Just as winter eventually gives way to spring, so too will trials come to an end. What remains afterward is growth, strength, and depth of character that nothing else could produce. And when the appointed time I have set arrives, you will see that all your pain was but a part of the greater plan, shaping you into a precious instrument in my hand, just as Joseph, David, Moses, and countless witnesses before you were prepared for their purpose. My dear one, I want you to understand that the trials you face are not solely about you. They are not simply the journey of one individual through suffering toward maturity, but they are woven into a much greater plan where your life becomes a testimony for many others. For when a person stands firm in the storm, they not only preserve themselves but become a beacon of hope for those who are lost. When you are not crushed by pain, those around you will see and be encouraged that they too can endure. When you choose forgiveness instead of harboring bitterness, others will learn the power of love. And when you continue to walk in the light despite the surrounding darkness, you become living proof that faith is real, that I, your Lord, am alive and still at work. Child, this world is longing for living testimonies, not merely eloquent sermons delivered from a pulpit, but lives that have been truly transformed. They want to see a person who has walked through suffering and yet has not fallen. They want to see a heart that has been wounded but still knows how to love. They want to see a soul that has been betrayed yet still preserves purity and kindness. And I am writing that very story through your life. The pages of sorrow you are experiencing today will become chapters of hope for others tomorrow. The scars you carry will serve as evidence of healing, and the small victories you gain each day will become sources of inspiration for the entire community. Think of Job, the man who lost everything: wealth, children, health, even the support of those closest to him. Yet he could still declare, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." Job 1:3-1-5. It was that unwavering faith that stood as a testimony for all generations, that true faith is not shaken by circumstances. In the end, I restored Job, granting him double what he had lost. His life became a living witness that trials are not the end, but rather the path leading to restoration and glory. So it will be with you. Your life will be a book that others can read, showing them that I am faithful. My beloved child, there are people quietly observing you. They may not say a word, but they are watching how you respond to hardship. They want to know if the faith you profess truly holds you steady in the storm. When they see you refuse to give up, they will realize that faith is not just theory, but a tangible strength. When they see you refrain from retaliating against those who harmed you, they will understand that love is stronger than hatred. When they see you remain at peace in the midst of chaos, they will wonder, what source of strength enables this person to stand firm? And then they will be drawn to me, for only in me can they find the answer. My child, do not underestimate the influence of your life. I have placed you as a lamp upon a high stand to shine for many. If your life were only easy, if you had never walked through trials, that light would be faint and others would hardly see it. But because you have passed through the night, the light within you has become clearer and stronger. People will believe what you say, not because your words are eloquent, but because your life has been truly lived. Trials have made you a genuine witness, and that is what this world desperately needs. My child, what you are learning is not only for yourself, it will become a treasure for you to share. When someone in pain comes to you, you will not merely say, "I understand," but you will truly understand because you have walked that road. When someone in despair says, "No one knows how I feel," you will be able to embrace them and respond, "I have been there too, and I saw that God did not abandon me." It is your experience that will open the door for them to trust. It is your pain, once transformed by me, that will become the very instrument of healing for others. My beloved, that is why I say trials are necessary. They do not merely train you, but prepare you to serve. They shape you into a vessel of grace ready to be poured out for the thirsty. They make you a banner of hope raised in the midst of a world full of lies and despair. And when you stand firm, the entire community around you is lifted. Your life will encourage your family, your friends, and even strangers you never expected to reach. Therefore, my child, do not see trials merely as burdens. See them as a mission. Do not only endure them, but allow me to make them into testimony. Let your life become a living sermon, where every scar tells the story of healing, every tear speaks of hope, and every time you stand firm becomes the witness of faith's strength. Then you will see that trials not only make you stronger, but they also raise up the whole community. My beloved, it is time for you to understand that faith is not a chair on which to sit safely, but wings on which to fly into new lands. Many believe that trusting in me means waiting for a miracle to fall from heaven, but the truth is, miracles often appear only when you dare to step forward. The Red Sea did not part until Moses raised his staff, and my people dared to step onto a path that seemed impossible. Joshua and the people did not see Jericho's walls fall until they obeyed and marched around the city for 7 days. Faith is a verb, not a passive noun. It is not a candle hidden in a jar, but a torch lifted high in the night. And today I am calling you to act, not only to hear and keep my words, but to walk out in courage. Imagine your life as a field. If you only stand and hold the seed in your hand, you will never see a harvest. You may pray 1,000 times. You may dream 10,000 times. But unless you bend down till the soil and sow the seed, nothing will ever grow. That is the essence of faith you sow in tears and sweat, in days that seem futile, but I promise you will reap with songs of joy. There are times I do not act immediately, not because I have abandoned you, but because I am waiting for you to take the first step. When you dare to step, you will see my hand push back mountains, open a path in the desert, and cause rivers to flow in barren lands. My child, your actions do not need to be grand. They only need to flow from obedience. Remember the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. In human eyes, it was too little to feed thousands. But when placed in my hands, it became the miracle that fed multitudes. At times you may think you are too small, that your step is too insignificant to change anything, but I tell you that if you are faithful with the little in your hands, I will multiply it into something great. What I require is not enormous strength, but absolute obedience. My child, walk forward even when you cannot yet see the road. Many desire clarity, a detailed map before they dare to move, but faith does not work that way. I often give only enough light for a single step, and when you take that step, the next light appears. Just as Abraham left his homeland without knowing where he was going yet, because he trusted me, he became the father of many nations. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to trust that my hand is guiding you. When you move forward, I will draw the way. When you lift your foot, I will lay the foundation. When you dare to step, I will act. Do not confuse patience with passivity. Patience is waiting with preparation and readiness, but passivity is sitting still in fear and laziness. I do not call you to sit in complacency, but to rise up as a warrior. Faith does not make you weak. Faith makes you courageous. Faith does not turn you into a victim. Faith turns you into a conqueror. I did not create you to flee from challenges, but to tread upon them and make them the very steps that lead you to glory. Remember, my beloved, your actions not only transform your own life, but also open the way for many others. When you walk forward, you draw along those who are weak and watching you. When you dare to believe, you become a testimony that others may also dare to believe. Think of Nehemiah, who did not wait for the gates of Jerusalem to rebuild themselves. He prayed, but he also acted. He rose, gathered the people, and began the work. What seemed impossible was completed in just 52 days. That is the power of faith in action. Understand that every step you take is a declaration. When you walk in faith, you are telling the darkness that it has no power. When you walk in faith, you are declaring that my promises are greater than the threats of the enemy. When you walk in faith, you are marking the world with a sign that God is faithful, and those very steps will resound as an echo for an entire generation. Therefore, my child, I do not want you to simply hear my words like a soothing melody and then let them pass by. I want you to turn my words into action. Rise up, speak forth, extend your hand in help, and walk forward with courage. Let faith become your heartbeat, your breath, your very life. And when you do this, you will see wonders unfold, not because you are strong enough, but because you have allowed me to work through you. When I call you to step into action, I do not leave you naked on the battlefield. I know you are facing hidden forces, accusations, and schemes of darkness. Therefore I clothe you with heavenly armor. This is not weaponry of iron and steel, nor tools crafted by human hands, but armor from heaven, armor that can quench every flaming arrow of the enemy and keep you standing firm in the evil day. Remember, your battle is not against flesh and blood, but against unseen rulers, against powers that govern the darkness. Therefore your weapons must also come from me, not from man. Above all, gird yourself with truth. You cannot fight without truth encircling you. The enemy will strike you with lies, distortions, and half-truths that sound convincing. If you do not stand on the foundation of truth, you will be easily swept away. But when you fasten truth around you like a belt, every lie loses its power. Truth is not merely information, truth is myself. When you cling to me, you will not be deceived by false light. Truth will keep you upright and steady, no longer swayed by the voices of the crowd. Next, put on the breastplate of righteousness. The enemy will try to accuse you, to point out your faults, to make you feel unworthy. It will whisper, "You have failed. You have no value." But the breastplate of righteousness will guard your heart. Righteousness does not come from your perfection, but from the fact that you have been declared righteous through faith in me. When you wear this breastplate, accusations cannot pierce you. You will remember that your identity is not based on your past, but on the redemption of my Son. And this breastplate will keep your heart from being overwhelmed with shame or inferiority. Put on the shoes of peace. You cannot walk far if your feet are wounded by the sharp stones of worry and fear. My peace is the pair of shoes that allow you to walk firmly, even on rough paths. The enemy will try to make you anxious, to scatter you in confusion, but the peace found in me will hold you steady. This is not the fragile peace of the world, but the peace that surpasses all understanding. With these shoes, you can step into any territory I send you, carrying good news instead of trembling. You also need the shield of faith. This is the weapon that extinguishes every flaming arrow of the enemy. Remember, the enemy will never cease to fire arrows of doubt. Does God really love you? Are you sure He will rescue you? You are nothing at all. These arrows burn with fire, seeking to consume your trust and hope. But when you lift up the shield of faith, those arrows are quenched before they reach you. Faith is not a fleeting feeling, but a firm trust that I am at work even when your eyes cannot see. And the shield of faith will keep you from being wounded in battle. Do not forget to put on the helmet of salvation. The enemy often strikes hardest at the mind, sowing doubt, fear, and self-condemnation. It wants you to believe that you are abandoned, that you are not good enough, that all your efforts are worthless. But the helmet of salvation will guard your thoughts. It reminds you that you have been saved, that you belong to me, that your name is written in the book of life. With this helmet, you will no longer let the enemy's voice dominate, but will clearly hear my voice declaring, "You are mine." And finally, take up the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. This is the only offensive weapon, and it is more powerful than any blade. The enemy does not tremble before your opinions, but it trembles before my word. When my Son was in the wilderness, tempted by Satan, he did not debate or explain. He simply replied, "It is written," and the enemy had to retreat. You must do the same. Use my word as your sword. Declare my word when you are plagued by doubt, when you are seized by fear, when you are accused. Let my word flow from your lips like a sharp blade, and it will cut through every chain. My beloved, when you put on the full armor, you will no longer be a passive target. You will stand firm as a warrior. The enemy may try to surround you, but it will see that you cannot be easily defeated. It will see that you are no longer swayed by lies, no longer weakened by fear, and your steadfastness will make it tremble. For you are not fighting alone, I am fighting through you. This armor is not only for your protection, but also to advance, to claim the promised land, to expand the spiritual territory I have prepared for you. My child, put on the armor every day. Do not treat it as an option, but as breath itself. Each morning when you rise, fasten the belt of truth, wear the breastplate of righteousness, put on the shoes of peace, Lift the shield of faith, place upon your head the helmet of salvation, and take up the sword of the Spirit. When you do, you will step out not as a fearful victim, but as a ready warrior, and I promise you this, nothing will defeat you, because nothing can defeat me. My beloved child, when I equip you with spiritual armor, it is not the end, but only the beginning of the new way of life I have called you to walk in. For wearing the armor is but preparation. The greater matter lies in how you use it to walk through life with the right posture, steadfast, yet gentle, strong, yet full of compassion. I have not called you to be so hardened that you shut yourself off, nor have I called you to be so weak that you yield at every turn. I want you to be one who stands firm in truth, yet is able to extend your arms in love. This is a combination that only those who belong to me can truly embody. My child, in this life there will always be those who oppose you, who misunderstand you, even those who wish to harm you. Human instinct often urges retaliation, the desire to prove oneself right, or even the longing to see the other suffer the consequences. But I call you to a different path, the path of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not overlooking wrong, but refusing to imprison yourself in hatred. Forgiveness is the key that sets your heart free. You may think your enemy is undeserving of forgiveness, but remember, forgiveness is not a gift for them, it is a gift for you. When you forgive, you are no longer bound by the chains of bitterness, and your soul is released to soar. I know forgiveness is the hardest thing you may ever be asked to do, especially when the wound is still fresh, when the lies still echo, when the knife of betrayal is still bleeding. Yet it is in that very moment that I want you to remember my only Son. As he hung upon the cross bearing mockery and humiliation, he did not curse nor seek vengeance, but prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 2:3-4. Forgiveness is not weakness, but the strength of one who entrusts themselves into my hands. When you forgive, you do not deny justice. You place justice in my hands, for it is written, "Vengeance is mine." But my child, forgiveness does not mean you must remain silent in the face of wrong. Forgiveness does not make you a passive victim. It frees your heart from hatred. Yet I still call you to stand firm in truth. You can love without colluding. You can be gentle without compromising. When you forgive, you open the way for healing. When you stand firm in truth, you prevent falsehood from spreading. These two are not in conflict, but together form a way of living that is both full of love and full of strength. Pray, my child, not only for yourself, but also for those who have opposed you. This may sound paradoxical, yet it is the most powerful spiritual weapon. When you pray for them, I can touch their hearts in ways you never could. When you say, "Lord, open their eyes to see the truth," you are taking part in a great work, the work of transformation. Many believe they are strong in darkness, yet a single ray of my light can make them see their blindness. You pray not because they deserve it, but because you know my power can change even the hardest heart. And so, my child, when you live this way, both forgiving and steadfast, you become a living paradox before the world. People will wonder, how can you love the one who has harmed you? How can you stand firm without retaliating? The only answer is, because you have me. And that alone will make your life a testimony more powerful than any sermon. Your gentleness will reveal my love. Your steadfastness will reveal my holiness. Together they will compel the world to acknowledge that you belong to a kingdom unlike any other. My dear child, do not fear that forgiveness will make you weak. In truth, only those who are strong have the capacity to forgive. Do not be afraid that standing in the truth will leave you alone. In reality, only those who know they belong to me can remain steadfast even when the whole world stands against them. And do not be anxious that praying for your enemies is in vain. Every prayer is a seed sown into the unseen realm, and I can cause it to sprout in ways you could never imagine. Therefore, my child, walk each day in this balance, a heart wide open to love, yet feet firmly planted in truth. Let your hands be ready to embrace the suffering, yet also prepared to push back deceit. Let your mouth be willing to pray for both friend and foe, yet also bold to proclaim the truth without fear. This is the life I call you to live, a life that is both warrior and shepherd. one who carries a sword and also a vessel of healing oil. And when you live in this way, you will become a complete instrument in my hands, carrying my love and righteousness to a world that longs for them. My beloved, I want you to know that every scheme, no matter how intricate, will crumble when confronted with my plan. They may gather in the shadows, plot in closed rooms, and weave false narratives with malicious pens, but when I release my breath, every lie will scatter like mist before the dawn. They may come against you by one path through schemes and deception, but I promise you this, they will flee in chaos by 7. They will stumble into the traps they themselves set, and their own words will return to shame them. This is the unchanging law. Darkness can never overcome light, and truth can never remain buried forever. Picture a house built on sand. On the surface, it may appear grand and impressive, admired by many. But let a storm come, and the whole structure collapses, exposing the frail foundation beneath. So it will be with those who rise against you. They construct houses of rumors, lies, and manipulation, but I will send the wind of truth, and then all will see their foundation has no strength. Meanwhile, you, even if shaken, even if scarred, will stand upon the eternal rock, which is me. And so you will not be swept away, but remain unshaken through the storm. My child, remember that vindication does not come from your own voice, but from my hand. You may grow weary of trying to prove your innocence. You may feel surrounded by false accusations, but you need not shout for others to believe you. I will vindicate you. I will bring truth into the open, in a way no one can deny. What is whispered in secret will sound like a trumpet from the rooftops. What has been distorted in the dark will be brought into the light for all to see. And on that day, you will lift your head high, not because you defended yourself, but because I, your God, fought for you. Child, let me share a secret with you. The more the enemy attacks, the greater your victory will resound. For every scheme they devise, I turn into a step that lifts you higher. For every lie they plant, I use it to reveal their true nature. The more people hear the slander, the more when truth comes forth, they must acknowledge your innocence. It is like a seed buried in the ground. It seems lost, but it is only waiting to sprout. Your honor may be trampled for a season, but when I restore it, it will bloom stronger than ever. Remember the story of Haman in the book of Esther. He built the gallows to hang Mordecai, but in the end he himself was hanged upon it. This is the picture of divine justice. The plot returns upon the plotter. Those who slander you will not realize that their lies will become the very judgment upon themselves. The traps they lay will not capture you, but will imprison them. And when all see it unfold, no one will doubt I am the one who has defended you. My beloved child, do not let your mind be tormented by questions such as, when will justice come? When will the truth be revealed? Leave that timing in my hands. For when I act, no one can stop it. In your eyes, the truth may seem to arrive late, but in mine it comes at the appointed time. I am never late, nor do I ever miss my appointment. When I open a door, no one can shut it. When I shut a door, no one can open it. And the door of your restoration is opening before you. My child, let your heart be at peace. Do not let your soul be torn apart by the murmurs of others. Let me be the one who fights for you. As I once declared to the people of Israel when they stood before the Red Sea, do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. Exodus 1:4-1-3. Stand firm, for you will see deliverance. Stand firm, for I will make the darkness flee. Stand firm, for victory is not a vague hope, but a destiny already ordained. My beloved, prepare your heart. For when I vindicate you, not only will your honor be restored, but your mission will also be elevated to new heights. The enemy thought it could stop you, but in truth it only caused your name to be known more widely. The enemy thought it could silence you, but in fact it created a stage on which I, myself, will exalt you before many. And on that day all will see that my hand is upon your life, and none will be able to deny it. My beloved child, the restoration I grant you is not merely a personal gift, but a flame that will rise to warm and illuminate the community around you. For I never created anyone to live in isolation. Every victory I give to one person becomes a catalyst, setting off a ripple of influence that touches many other lives. When I lift you out of the depths, people will not only witness one individual rescued, but they will behold a whole generation encouraged, a community revived, and a collective faith reborn. My child, there are many still trapped in the night, wandering in fear, in lies, and in insecurity. They feel imprisoned, yet they do not know that the key to freedom is close at hand. It is your testimony. When they hear your story, they will understand that if I have done this for you, I can do it for them as well. When they see you vindicated, they will believe that my justice will come for them too. When they see you standing firm in the storm, they will know they too can overcome their own tempests. Thus, your restoration does not end with you, but spreads outward like the rays of the sun piercing into the darkest places. Remember that faith is most often transmitted through living stories, not lifeless theories. The story you are living is the very book many others will read. The tears you once shed will become a stream that quenches their thirst. The healed wounds you carry will serve as proof that they too can be healed. The fears you have overcome will become courage for trembling hearts. You do not need to strive to persuade anyone, for your life itself, bearing the imprint of all that I have done, will be a resounding testimony. My beloved, think of the early church after the resurrection of Christ. A small group of once fearful people who had hidden themselves away became bold witnesses when they were filled with the Holy Spirit. Their testimony did not only change a few individuals, but it shook entire cities, spread across nations, and eventually reached the world. They possessed no political power, no great wealth, no weapons in their hands. But they had one thing: they had been transformed, and they carried within themselves the living testimony that Christ had risen. That alone was enough to change history. In the same way, when I restore you, when I vindicate you, you will become a witness to the community around you, and the impact will extend far beyond anything you can imagine. My child, when I heal you, you will no longer live only for yourself. You will become an instrument to bring healing to others. When I give you peace, you will become one who sows peace. When I restore your honor, you will become an encourager to those who have been cast down. Your life will carry a new kind of authority, not an authority drawn from position or reputation, but from the experience of walking through the darkness and still standing firm in the light. People will listen to you not merely because your words are eloquent, but because they see in your eyes the gaze of one who has truly encountered grace. My child, I do not restore you merely so that you may enjoy comfort, but so that you may become the extension of my hand. You will be the one who gathers up the fragments of broken hearts and says, I too was shattered, but God renewed me. You will embrace those who have fallen and say, I too was brought low, but He lifted me up. Through the way you treat others, through the way you give love and hope, many will be transformed. This is the ripple of restoration, from an individual to a community, and then to an entire generation. Beloved one, know this: darkness always seeks to isolate, but light always longs to spread. Darkness binds people in silence, convincing them that their pain is unique, that no one could ever understand. But light shatters that silence and reminds them they are not alone. When you share your journey, you open a pathway for others to walk as well. When you live honestly with your scars, you hand them the courage to face their own wounds. And when a community rises together, restoration ceases to be an individual experience. It becomes a collective power that transforms the very atmosphere. Prepare your heart, for I do not heal you, so that you may return to your old life. I am making you a catalyst for the renewal of an entire community. Just as a single spark in a dry forest can ignite a great fire, so too can one restored life ignite faith in dozens, even hundreds of others. Do not underestimate the power of your own restoration, for it can become the flame that rekindles many hearts that have grown cold. Beloved child, the restoration I promise you will never stop with you alone. It will reach your family, your friends, even strangers who only happen to hear your story. It will inspire the next generation to know that God is still at work. And as this restoration spreads, whole communities will enter into a new season, a season of faith, of hope, and of transformation. My child, understand that what you have just endured is only the opening chapter of a great book I am writing upon your life. Trials, storms, betrayals, accusations, all these things are not the conclusion but the prelude preparing for a greater symphony. Like a conductor who leads an orchestra through low notes before lifting them into a grand crescendo, I have allowed you to walk through the depths so that when the song of glory rises, it will be more majestic, more profound, and more powerful. You were not created to fall in the opening pages, but to author a story filled with hope, strength, and glory. My child, your future is not defined by the lies that once covered you, but by my unchanging promise. Look beyond the narrow frame of today. I am leading you on a long journey where every step you take will leave a mark. You will become a voice for those who no longer have the strength to speak. You will become a hand for those who no longer have the strength to rise. You will become a light for those who are walking in the dark. And all of this will not come from your own ability, but from my love, my grace, and my power flowing through you. Believe, my child, that you never walk alone. I go before you like a flame that lights your path in the night. I go behind you like a shield that blocks every arrow. I go beside you as a companion who never abandons you. Every time you fall, I will lift you up. Every time fear grips your heart, I will whisper, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." Every time you are confused, I will show you the way you should go. Let your heart rest in peace, for my presence is the unfailing assurance that you will reach the place I have promised. My beloved, do not limit yourself to the small things you once thought were the highest peaks. The dreams you once held were only shadows of what I truly have prepared for you. I am opening new doors, new lands, and new territories you have never touched. And in those places you will not only be a participant, but one who influences, a pioneer, a bearer of light. Remember, the enemy does not attack someone without purpose. It strikes you fiercely because it knows your destiny is great. Yet what it does not understand is that the more it assaults you, the more it unknowingly propels you toward the goal I have already set. My child, do not think only of personal restoration, but think of legacy. What you are building today will echo through generations. The words you speak, the actions you take, the decisions you make in obedience will become the foundation for those who come after you. I am writing a story not only for you, but for your children, for your community, and for people you have never met. And you will see that every step you take in faith carries an impact that goes far beyond the boundaries of time. Do not fear the days ahead, my child. For even though the world may shake and people may change, I remain the one who never changes. My word still stands firm. My promises remain certain, and my love will never fade. You will see doors open where there once were only walls. You will see rivers flow in barren deserts. You will witness revival, not only in your own life, but in the community around you. And you will understand that nothing has been wasted. No tear shed was meaningless, no trial unnecessary. All of it has been woven together into a greater tapestry, the tapestry of victory. Therefore, my child, stand firm. Lift up your head and walk forward in faith. Do not let the past bind you, and do not let the words of others make you falter. Live as one who has been set free, as one who has been chosen, as one who carries a sacred calling. You are not the victim of schemes, but the victor in my plan. You are not the one cast down, but the one lifted up. You are not abandoned, but the one with whom I am always present. And your future shines bright, for I am the one who goes before you. May the word of the Lord continually remind you to live each day in His faith and His love. Press the follow button and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss the divine and meaningful messages God desires to share with you. May the Lord bless you. Amen.